California is a super cool place to live in many areas. There's awesome beaches, wide open spaces, mountains, lakes, and some of the most stimulating culture around. In fact, a lot of places in California seem like the best place in the country. Then you've got the bad side of California. You know it when you see it. These are the places in California where people are broke, there's a lot of crime, and frankly, there's nothing to do. Or it's ghetto as all hell. The goal in this report is to talk about the worst cities and towns in California. Now, California is a very liberal place, so you're going to find lots of bad places to live there just because of that one reason alone. But we're going to leave politics out of this one, for the most part. So let's hop in our car just so we can sit in traffic for hours as we explore California's worst places to live. We begin our journey through the worst places you can live in California in the city of Anaheim, or as locals call it, ANAHEIM. This city smack dab in the middle of the OC is one of the most dangerous places in the state. To outsiders, it might be seen as a fun place to live with Disneyland and Angel Stadium and the convention center there, but to Anaheim residents, it's seen as dirty, ghetto, and overcrowded. Go into your backyard on a typical Friday night in Anaheim, and it's not quiet. Dogs barking, people yelling, loud music, and of course, the sirens. This city's bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Of course, don't mix Anaheim Hills with Anaheim proper. This part of Anaheim is peaceful and quiet. Now, as we do for all of our worst videos, we're going to be fair and point out the good sides of living in a city or town. In Anaheim's case, residents can at least save money on water and power since both are city-owned, which means lower rates. That's cool. Also, for many Anaheim residents, being so close to Disneyland means free fireworks shows every summer night. Or are those gunshots? To get to Anaheim, take either the Lincoln or Catella exits off of the 5. Now it's time to leave the peaceful enclaves of Orange County and hop on the 5 and head up to our next worst place to live in California, Stockton. Of course, on our way to Stockton, we're going to pass up some other really lousy places to live in California along the way. Places like Tracy are real armpits. And Stockton's Central Valley cousins Fresno and Visalia are certainly not desirable places to live either. But Stockton is the king of the Central Valley crummy castle. Here in Stockton, you can get a house for about $200,000, which for California means it must be a real dump. More than 1 in 5 Stockton residents lives in poverty, and about 1 in 10 people here doesn't have a job, the third highest rate in the state. This part of the San Joaquin Valley is the pits. Gangs, drugs, thefts, all are rising in what Forbes magazine called the 8th most dangerous city in the nation. And Stockton's government filed for bankruptcy, which cut back on the police force even further. Gag me with a spoon.
Did you know Stockton is the asparagus capital of the world?
Who cares about that, Mappy? Asparagus is like the worst vegetable ever. Stockton can keep all of it. Oh hey, well I got you here. I got some fan mail, Mappy. Here's a letter that was addressed specifically to you through email. The general of some battle says he got like 7.2 million euros and wants to give you 10% of it if you give him your bank account information. I don't think it's a scam, Appy. I think you should do it.
I could use the money. I want to move to California.
Oh yeah?
But my family's big, and I don't want to have to go on welfare like everyone else here.
Mappy, perhaps it's time I give you a raise. Let me think about it, okay, fella? Man, I feel bad. Mappy does work hard and he has 3 kids. But for now, it's time to head back down the 5, and then we take the 10 east as we arrive in the Inland Empire and our favorite IE city, San Bernardino. Here in San Bernardino, things couldn't be more f***ed up. Crime is completely out of control, the public schools are controlled by angry and disinterested kids, and there's nothing to do for fun. People actually throw their trash out on the sides of the roads here to avoid paying trash bills, likely because their welfare checks don't pay for city services. Financially, the city government's corrupt, it's bankrupt, and it's completely bogged down by city retirement pension fund obligations. Even Rialto, Colton, Highland, and Fontana look down on San Bernardino. Is there anything good about San Bernardino? Yes! You'll find some of the best Mexican food in the entire state in this part of the valley. But is it worth dying for? Actually, kinda. Want to get away from San Bernardino? Then just head south, specifically take the 10 to the 215 to the 60, and eventually you'll find the center of all that is sad and depressing in Riverside County, the city of Hemet. Here, you can buy a home for $150,000. Yes, that's right. This all can be yours for a fraction of the cost of what it costs to live in most other areas of California. Your neighbors are likely doing shady things or are living in a trailer park, but hey, there's nothing wrong with a few hillbillies, right? Or old people. In many areas, Hemet's a big ghetto retirement community. 50% of Hemet residents were born in Hemet, 15% are from Orange and LA counties, 15% are from San Bernardino County, and 20% are illegal aliens. If you're successful in Hemet, your goal is to move on up in the world and go to nearby San Jacinto. If you raise chickens and goats, Hemet isn't so bad. There's a lot of room in these parts to spread out, and if you like hot summers, this is your kind of place. We're gonna head back to San Bernardino County again, and we're gonna stop off at our next worst place to live in California, Barstow. To get there, pretend like you're going to Vegas and then pull over like everybody else does who wants McDonald's and Del Taco. For Californians, Barstow is a rest stop. For Barstowians, it's a dangerous, boring place without hope. This chart actually shows how dangerous Barstow is. 100 is best. Barstow is at a 4. Barstow is actually 3 times more dangerous than the state average, which is far higher than the national average itself. 1 in 25 people in Barstow gets robbed every year. Of what? I don't know, since there's not a lot of nice stuff in Barstow for people to take. Barstow's water is contaminated from rocket fuel from the nearby military base. Of course, for every bad, there's a good. Sort of. Barstow can hang its hat on being mentioned in several notable films, including Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and Hangover. Not favorably. But guess what, Barstow? At least you're better than your bigger brother, Victorville. In fact, Victorville has 6 times as many people as Barstow does. Here in Victorville, the schools are underfunded and property values are well below the state average. A home here costs $177,000, which is a sure sign of a lack of demand. You have about a 1 in 36 chance of being the victim of a property crime here every year, so there's a reason why they call it Victimville. Mappy, even you can afford a house in Victorville.
I don't know, Nick. Victorville doesn't sound like a safe place to raise my kids.
Okay, you know what, Mappy? You're right. I'm gonna give you a big raise. I'm gonna double your salary.
Yay! Yay! Thanks, Nick. I'm taking the entire family out to In-N-Out for dinner to celebrate.
Oh, hey, Miss Mappy, aren't you gonna go to In-N-Out too?
Maybe you and I can go to In-N-Out alone.
Only if you leave that kid at home. All right, things are starting to come along now. We're almost to our list. Mappy got a raise, and I'm getting a double-double with Miss Mappy later. Sick of the desert towns yet? Because we're not even close to being done. Our next stop is another San Bernardino County desert community. So let's hop on the 10 as we go past Palm Springs and pull into Desert Hot Springs. Why are we driving so slow? DHS, as the cool kids say, is a hot, empty place with nothing to do. The crime rate in Desert Hot Springs is almost the highest in California per capita. Nearly 1 in 4 homes is vacant, and residents earn about $32,000 a year, which goes nowhere on a California budget. Plus, summers are miserable. While the other cities in the greater Palm Springs area might be considered posh, such as Palm Springs and Rancho Mirage, Desert Hot Springs remains one of the many sore spots in the region. Desert Hot Springs has a lot of homeless people and smells like a combination of Mexican food and tumbleweeds. I was born in East LA. I was born in East LA. Moving on, we come to our third worst place to live in California, East LA, which is east of LA. It's also east of South Central LA. Let's grade East LA. Cost of living, F. Crime, F. Employment rates, F. Schools, F. The only good thing about living in East LA is that there's a lot to do nearby, and of course, Southern California weather is pretty solid year-round. The average home price in East LA is $459,000, from which you will battle with gangsters, take forever to drive anywhere, and enjoy a tiny rundown place with no yard to speak of. Now compare that to other better places to live in other states. For instance, in Olathe, Kansas, you can own a home for $262,000 with a nice big yard, no real crime to speak of, and great schools. East LA is also 96% Latino, the highest concentration of Hispanics in the entire country. We're going to leave the LA area for good, thank God, to get to our second worst place to live in California. We're going to take the 395 up from Hesperia until you get to Ridgecrest, but don't stop there or waste your time at China Lake. Head east until you get to Trona. Trona lies at the edge of Sears Lake, which isn't actually a lake, it's a dry lake bed that was dredged for a chemical plant. Trona's dirt's so messed up from toxic chemicals that they can't drink their own water or grow grass there. As such, the high school football field is sand. Nearby is Death Valley and every species of rattlesnake you can think of. Trona, officially part of the Lucerne Valley, has 1,900 people. A while back, Trona had 6,000 people, but parolees looking for cheap housing moved in. People have burned down a bunch of vacant homes. Business owners locked up and walked away. You could buy this home for $19,000, or this one for $7,000. What the? Why is it so cheap to live in Trona? Let's call a realtor there and find out.
Trona Realty, this is Deb. How can I help you find your perfect Trona paradise?
Hey, I'm looking around online and I see there's a lot of homes for sale in Trona that are really cheap. I'd like to buy one.
Is this a joke? Please tell me you're not joking. Please buy a house here. I'll do anything.
Okay, everyone, time for our worst place to live in California. We'll take the 15 to the 8 and go all the way down to practically Arizona and stop in El Centro. There's a low bar for everything. Sure, the homes are cheap, there's nothing to do, and crime's really high, and there's nothing to do, and it's super hot. El Centro is El Centro for all that is undesirable of all of California's desert communities. But this place is on another level. Plus, you're only about 15 minutes from the Mexican border, so you have that to deal with. This part of the state might as well be in Mexico in many ways. Alright, so that's it. The worst places you can live in California. Hope you learned something. I did. In case you're curious, here are the best places you can live in California.
Hey Nick, In-N-Out was great. We had a great time.
Thanks for giving us a raise. I'm gonna get a new hoverboard. Yeah, and I'm gonna buy all the scrunchies and pop sockets I want. And Instagram money.
Good. I'm glad, Mappy family. Now save up, work hard, and maybe after 50 years, you too can afford to live in a California city that's not on this list. The end. Hey, so if you're watching this video in California, there's a chance you can do something to help somebody in need. California Kids Connection is a website for foster children who need permanent parents. If you've been thinking about adopting a child or know somebody who might, give them a visit at cakidsconnection.com. There are so many kids who need help and who need a family due to a situation they didn't choose. Hey guys, if you learned something new or you just like this video, make sure to like it. And if you really like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get all of our videos about what it's like to live in different places in America. Peace.